So, welcome. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to use my Grasshopper Revit building creator tool, where you can set a variable, however many floors you want and what floor type you want, and you can even add a twist for each floor from base to top, and Grasshopper will create the geometry and push it into Revit. So what you need for this is Revit, and the latest versions should be alright. I said versions, so should be alright with 21, 22, 23, 24, and maybe even the early versions. And you also need Rhino. Now you can get a 90-day trial of Rhino, so go get that if you want to play around with this. And let's just get started and just get straight into it so you can see. So on my screen you can see I've just launched standard Revit 24. I'm going to say new model structural template. By the way, you don't really need to use Grasshopper. You don't need to really be that good at it to know what I'm doing. In fact, you probably don't even need to have any experience in it to understand how to use this. This is more of a showcase to show you what can be done, and this building creator tool will be improved with newer versions as well, so it will have more options in the future and branches as well. So first thing I want you to do is to go to 3D mode and delete the 2 levels. This bit is very important. I also like to delete the default elevations and the analytical model, but the only thing you absolutely need to do is delete the levels, because the level naming convention will get in the way of the Grasshopper file. Now in a separate video I'll show you where and how you can download it, but for now I've just got it on my computer. You also need to have rhino.inside installed, which is free for Rhino users, and obviously I've only got the trial of Rhino, but this Rhino Inside software is completely free, so you can use it with the trial. So once you launch this tab, or open this tab and use that button to launch Rhino within Revit, you now click Rhino, and you don't need to know how to use Rhino either. All you need to know how to do is to just copy what I'm doing here, place a circle down, and we'll just say a radius of 50,000. And you know what, we'll put a square down as well, hold shift, there we go. That's it. Now we're going to launch Grasshopper. So I'm actually going to move this off the screen for now, and I'm going to say File, Open Document, and I'll go to my desktop and get that file. So as you can see, there's nothing here in Revit, and I've got this Grasshopper file which looks intimidating but is not as bad as it looks. You'll see why in a second. Now the first thing I need to do is click on curve here, right click it and say set one curve, and I'll select that one, and it's already doing its work. So the only variables you need to worry about are the number of floors, the floor height, and the total twist. That is the angle between the base and the top level. So at 90 degrees, the angle between the square at the bottom and the square at the top is literally 90, right? And each floor rotates a little bit, so it's been divided perfectly among the floors, right? Now the other thing you can play around with is the curvature shape, right? So you can use this graph to play around with it like that. I think I should deactivate the twist by setting it to 0 so that you can see what exactly is going on with the cross section. There we go, we can play around with it like that and do this and whatever. You can also change the graph types. There's multiple types here, so Gaussian, yeah, ugly and probably impossible, but whatever. Then you got this. So I'm just going to keep it as Bezier. If you want to make the gherkin from London, these are the settings you'd want on a Bezier, and set it to a circle, which you can do right clicking here and set one curve. There you go. You could tweak this a little bit more, maybe bring this down a bit, and there you have it, the gherkin. Obviously you'd need to set this to about 40 floors, I think, 42, whatever. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to use that, and we will add a little twist. And bear in mind, if you're new, you can double click these to change the maximum ranges. I'm going to reduce the number, by the way, because it's going to take quite a long time. Not a long time, but I want to reduce the amount of time it takes to process. So I've got some twist, I've got the heights you need, and I've got 22 floors, and that's that. So this region works on the geometry, this region works on the twist, and this region works on creating the levels, right? So that you don't have to manually create the levels in Revit. Now, when you first open it, I've disconnected some things here because they're a bit long. You want to connect these, so that will create the levels. Now, if I minimize this, look at Revit, boom, levels done, 31 levels. As I said, here, I wanted, 22 levels. Yeah, so after connecting it, I should say you should hit play, and that will do it. Now after clicking play, double click this, and again to undo, or not to undo, but to prevent it from sending more data. And now we have 26 levels, obviously including level 0, just the same as what we asked it to do, 26 levels. Now I want the floors on those levels. I want to set the floor type by right click. If you get this issue, you delete this. Say type, and you want this logo, right? Revit type. Right click it, and then set model, floors, floor type, and it will basically load all the floor types you have in Revit. Just click away and click that. Now you also need to connect these to the boundaries, and click play. Now it will create each of those floors from here with that geometry in Revit, and that's what's going on right now. So if you've got a good powerful graphics card and a good Core i processor, this will be faster. But I've got a decent gaming laptop from a few years ago, so it's an i7 9th generation processor and a decent-ish GeForce RTX laptop, GPU graphics card, but it's considerably older now. So if you've got an Alienware, then you're good. You're better than good. And there we have it. We have our structure, and we haven't had to draw a single line in Revit. I can set this to consistent colors to see it easier. Now, bear in mind, there is one issue with this, and there's going to be newer versions in the future, and this isn't going to be a problem. This top one is in the same place as the other top one, so I don't understand why that's happening. The other problem is these are all set to level 25, but are offset from that level to be at the exact level that I asked for. So you're going to need to reassociate these to the levels manually. However, that's something that will be fixed in future versions, but this is still faster. Let me tell you why. All of these levels are created, and now I want to make them into structural plans. And that's it. I've got loads of structural plans. I can go to level 1, and I see the floor there, and when I start editing that floor, I can then change it to level 1 very quickly and start doing my work. As I said, that will be fixed in the future. I need to figure out what's happening with the code, but for now the code is available and free. Oh, you'll also need to change the offset, by the way. That's why that's like that. Yeah. Cool. So, if you have questions, feel free to email me. Email will be below, or comment below. And I look forward to hearing from you guys. Let me know what you think. And I'm currently unemployed, but if you have jobs, if you have jobs, then feel free to reach out and give me some work to do. Thanks. And remember to like and subscribe and all that good stuff.